November was the month of cleanup. We did a load of quality life improvements. We fixed a bunch of bugs. We kind of fixed some oddities here and there. And really, there's not enough time to mention everything that we did, but there are about 30 items that we fixed. We did things like, in the map library now, we have an indicator showing which map is selected. We put tooltips over our buttons and icons. We added new icons to the points of interest. We added a bunch of new filter types or filter backgrounds, face filters, things like that to the avatar library. One of the big things we did, though, is we improved the Fog of War tool. It's a lot smarter now. We actually reduced what's in this Fog of War area because we've moved some things to other areas, but we've really reduced this down to a minimal feature set, but it's even more powerful than it was last month. So you can continue to draw areas and subtract areas, but we added this paintbrush tool, and the paintbrush tool will probably primarily be used while you're playing your game. You can outline areas with the paintbrush and obscure them or reveal them. The intelligence of the paintbrush is kind of nice because if you start in an area and draw outward, it adds to that area. Same thing with these revealing areas. So this is really a nice, powerful tool that will allow you to use Fog of War in ways that maybe it would a little more painful, especially while you're playing your game. We used to have options for hiding Fog of War and changing the style of Fog of War. That information is now up in this upper menu. So you can see it says set view mode. In here we have player view, which if I turn off my Fog of War tool, this is going to be what your players see. So notice that it hides the point of interests. It turns all the Fog of War black. So if you ever wonder what your players are saying, you can flip over this mode really quickly and see what they see. There's also this DM view without Fog of War, and this basically just hides the Fog of War. So if you're working on a map and you don't want to have your view obscured with the Fog of War shapes, you can turn this on. But normally you're just going to sit in DM view. We continue to augment our reference and character sheet area. We just added the ability to add form fields. So we don't have inventory tracking right now, but we did add the ability to come in here, and if you use a custom character sheet or if you're editing reference items, you can obviously type as you have been, but now if you right click, you'll see an insert field, and you can insert a text field, a text area, or a checkbox. I'll show you all three types. And this is our text area, this is our text, this is our text field, this is our text area, and this is our checkbox. And the nice thing about this is this info is saved between states. So I don't need to save this or anything, it's saved to the server when I move my mouse out of that area or when I change a checkbox. So if I leave and go to another character, this is another test that I did, but if I go back to this human bandit, you will see this information is retrieved and put in there. So what this allows you to do, at least in the interim, is if you want inventory, you can make this an inventory field. If you wanted to track something like when something's used, if you have a ring that gets used once per day, you could have a checkbox. You could come in here and add ring of whatever. So this kind of gives you some ability to have a little bit of save and retrieve functionality inside your character sheets. You can also add it to reference items. So if you have a point of interest that you want to save some information to, you can do that through a reference item. Either here, like this, you can still add a field. You can do something like used. You can save that. Give that a name, but if I open this up, it will give me my checkbox. And I can go back to this character sheet and do whatever, but if I come back to this reference at any point, you will see that it restores that state. The last thing I want to show you is in our campaign area, we now have the ability to archive campaigns that you own. So if you are the DM, denoted by this crown, you can archive your campaigns. And if you're a player, you can leave a campaign. So if, for instance, you're part of a campaign and the DM hasn't archived the campaign, you can always leave it to just clean up your campaign area. And that is pretty much what we've done in the month of November.